The past can be a prison, a cell of all that came before, the shackles made of trauma, the barred window only showing that which our minds can't stop thinking about, a view to the west and the setting sun, causing our view of the east and a new dawn to be forgotten, obscured by the cold stone, making it difficult for us to remember that something lies beyond that shadow of the past, a miracle illuminated in the distance. A reminder of Senua's horrific history lies just past the walls of the little village of Freyslaug. Thorgestur guides her to the outer rim of the settlement, but refuses to enter, afraid of the evil that lies inside. He explains that this place was once protected by his father, but comments that they did something that apparently led to their demise. Signs of Draugr all around fuel his fear, foreshadowing what may wait inside. It is a bloodbath. The citizens can be found in pieces everywhere, some severed limbs strung up. The remains of others left in piles along the road or in the dilapidated remains of their homes. Immediately, the Furies act up, drawing comparisons to the massacre of Senua's tribe, an overlap of events in her head.
Freyslaug forced her to remember the home of her youth, plundered by the Northmen.
This location can act as a stressor that invokes the negative emotions associated with the initial trauma. In many cases, these horrible experiences can trap one in that moment, constantly reliving the events in their head, like a wound that you keep scratching at so it never closes. Similar to the place on the beach, Senua hallucinates this place being locked on all sides. The bridge forward trapped her inside a memory of the past. Echoes from this experience are still weighing heavy upon her. A common question comes up when discussing trauma like this. If you could have a magic wand and erase all memories of the dark parts of your life, would you? While this is comforting to contemplate, it also ignores another question. Would I be the same person today if I never experienced these things? If Senua did not suffer through this, would she be here now, on a quest to end the Raiders' operation? Would she ever have developed in her relationship with her psychosis? Would she still be under her father's oppressive rule, never learning how to turn her back on him? Our past dictates who we are, the good and the bad. During this section, the village shifts into a few other memories. One of her mother, a positive memory, possibly inspired by the shade of the mother terrified as she cradles her child, trying to keep her baby safe from the intruders. Another memory is given attention as well, one that suggests that the lessons learned from the past as a result of bad experiences can be used now, when she finds Druth's iron mirror. Senua came to these shores with nothing, but here it is, the mirror that helped her focus. In combat, it slows time and becomes essential for her survival. Why is it here? The simple answer is, it isn't. But her memory of it, how it affected the way she sees the world, is what's important. The presence of this mirror could be a random one she found in a hut and imagined it to be Druth's. Or it could simply be a figment of her imagination. Either way, it goes to show that this area tries to get the point across that our past is made up of the good, as with her mother, the bad, as with the carnage left by the invaders, and the lessons learned from both of these experiences. Wondering who we would be if the bad chapter of our lives was erased is not productive. Only how we can learn from it and how we come to terms with it. I may be reading into this, but Senua comparing the villagers of Freyslaug with her own tribe may be crucial in her current narrative. Through use of transference, she may achieve catharsis after all. Transference is the process in which the emotions of a person has for one thing is placed onto something else. The feeling for her own tribe transferred onto the souls that were slaughtered here, becoming another group to be avenged. Upon arriving to Iceland, Senua's goal was to seek vengeance on those responsible for the raids. During her encounter with Thorgestur, we see that empathy for these people was not high on her list. But witnessing firsthand that even here horrors are abundant and innocents are being slaughtered, things have changed a little. It may not seem like much, but this is a huge deviation. People that were under the umbrella of her enemy are now sympathetic. They look a little bit like her own people, mirroring what they suffered. Her relationship with them becomes emotionally linked with her own tribe. As a result, if she can get to the bottom of what happened here, it feels as though she avenged her own tribe in a weird way. It's the same psychology as someone who lost a sibling to substance abuse, spending their lives helping others break the habit, making sure no one else ends up the same way, helping others now because of the trauma of not being able to help then. The victims of Freyslag became a stand-in for her own people, the fuel to drive her on, whether she realizes it or not. Our past informs our present. Chapter 3 of our story always has an effect on who we are today. Even if we try to bury things in the past, it will always crawl up from the grave and stalk us from the shadows. This memory was unable to trap her. This perspective change opens the path, and Senua crosses the bridge to the outskirts. But there are other things in her past that try to come up. Lore stones in this area tell a story that echoes her own, the tale of Grettir and a Draugr named Glamour. According to Draugr, Glamour was killed by a dark power. His body was frozen to the ground and could not be moved or buried, so the villagers left it. Soon it rose up and became an undead Draugr. That which isn't buried can rise up just like memories we try to forget, but never quite cover up. Glamour stalked the settlement. Every victim it claimed rose up as well to follow. Trauma leading to trauma, creating a cycle that continued on and on. But Grettir believed himself to be capable of ending this creature's reign. While the man was successful, Glamour cursed him as it died. His strength turned against him. Phantoms rose before his eyes when alone. It became known that those who saw things that were not there had Glamour's eyes. Likely, this name is the etymology for words like glimmer or glamour. In the context of this story, the true curse that Grettir was inflicted with was the trauma of what he experienced, leading to a form of PTSD. Unable to leave behind the horrors he experienced, it followed him like a revenant for the rest of his days.
The past haunts us all. Like Draugr, it comes back for us.
This mythical monster has become a metaphor for the darkness of our past following us for the rest of our lives. In the context of Senua's story, she has Glamour's eyes as well, bearing a scar similar to Grettir. The dead tribesman was only one revenant stalking her. The shadow of her father continues to crawl from the grave. Even when she mentally defeats him like in Draug's stories, he appears as a phantom before her eyes. Images of her slaughtered tribesmen and the sight of her dead lover is another, similar phantom. But as discussed earlier, she would not be bound by the past either, not becoming a slave in a different way, instead making use of these memories to fuel her path forward. Forgetting would be a disservice not only to those who are lost, but to herself as well. To remember our dark past, but not be controlled by it.
Senua stood strong against her father's voice. She would not forget those she had lost, but neither would she let them hold her in the past. Her lover's death drove her on to keep her promise, just as it had once in the past.
With all this said, it is time to end this chapter for today. Next time, we will follow the fiery beacons in the distance and explore how beliefs change and gods evolve. See you next time. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe to receive updates on future uploads. If you would like to help support the channel, a Patreon has been set up and the link is in the description below. Have a great day and peace be with you all.